Hello, welcome to this channel where we discuss anything and everything about English, and this video lesson is about vocabulary. If you are planning to take an IELTS or TOEFL test, then you might know that about 80% of your success at the test depends on how many words you know. So you should constantly work on increasing your vocabulary. Now, when it comes to academic vocabulary, you don't need to know very specialized words such as names of trees or birds, because if a text or lecture has very specialized words, then they will give you explanation for them. But it helps to understand very common academic vocabulary. For example, CO2 is carbon dioxide. It is a primary greenhouse gas. This is very important to know. And another word is H2SO4, which is a sulfuric acid, which is a strong acid with no color. This is not so much important, but you need to know the word acid. An acid means a chemical, usually liquid, which is very strong, and if it touches some surface, it can burn holes or damage them. For example, if you put a drop of H2SO4 on your skin, it will definitely burn a hole in your skin, so they can be dangerous. So with the example of CO2 and H2SO4, I showed you how important it is to understand some very common scientific words. And in this video, I would like to teach you 7 words around the topic of burning and fire. And all of them come from test 1, reading passage 1 of academic IELTS 1. So let's get started.
The first word is a log, which is a thick piece of wood that is cut from or has fallen from a tree. Logs is the plural. For example, we found a huge pile of logs. You can split logs with an axe. In this picture, you can see an axe and you can see a log. Now, if you split logs with an axe, it means you cut the log into 2 parts with this instrument. You can live in a log cabin, which is a small house built of logs. You can see a log cabin in this picture. The next word is friction, which is the action of one object or surface moving against another. For example, if this box moves along the surface this way, if it moves to the right, there's the force of friction happening between the surface and the box. For example, when you rub your hands together, the friction produces heat.
So when you rub your hands together, what's happening between them is friction. And that friction makes your palms get warmer and even hotter.
Now in this picture, you can see a wooden drill, and when a person rotates this wooden drill between his or her palms, there's a friction created in the hole. Let's look at a sample passage. The earliest method of making fire was through friction. European peasants would insert a wooden drill in a hole and rotate it briskly between their palms. This method was used by European peasants to create fire. The next word is flint, which is a very hard gray stone that can be used to produce a flame. In this picture, you can see a piece of flint and some tinder, a substance that burns easily, such as paper or thin sticks of wood used to light fires. For example, in Europe, the combination of steel, flint, and tinder remained the main method of fire lighting until the mid-19th century. The next word is combust, which means to start to burn. Combust is a verb. For example, we combust coal and other fossil fuels. Combustion is the noun form. For example, poisonous gases are produced during fossil fuel combustion. Combustible is the adjective form, and it means able to burn easily. For example, wood and coal are both combustible substances. Flammable. Something that is flammable burns easily. This is the synonym for the word combustible. For example, petrol is a highly flammable liquid. Inflammable is the same as flammable. Don't forget, this is not the antonym of flammable. This is not the opposite. They are the same. The opposite of both words is non-flammable. For example, since nitrogen is non-flammable, special firefighting equipment and instructions are not needed. The word ignition has two meanings. Let's look at the first one. An engine's ignition is the electrical system that starts the engine. You can see it in this picture here. He turned on the ignition key. The second meaning, the process of initiating combustion or starting fire. For example, the flames spread to all parts of the house within minutes of ignition. This means that the flames spread to all parts of the house after it started burning, right away. Ignite is the verb form. Example, the fuel spontaneously ignites because of the high temperature and pressure. And the last word is hazardous, which means involving risk or danger, especially to somebody's health or safety. It's synonymous to dangerous. You can say hazardous waste, hazardous materials, hazardous substances, or chemicals. Hazard is the noun form. For example, everyone is aware of the hazards of smoking. And one more example, growing levels of pollution present a serious hazard to the local population. This means that pollution is a serious danger to the local population.
I hope this video was useful. Write your own examples with these words in the comment section below. If you have any questions, you can write them too. Subscribe for more future free lessons and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.